everybody. J. Jonah Jameson. It's so nice to have you in the community. That's a great profile name. So we've got, yes, we made it to 3 streams this week, and this one's a doozy. I couldn't believe all this news dropped yesterday after the other stream. I was like, what the heck? The one day I have an earlier stream, all the news drops in the evening. I was like, darn it, that's why later in the day really is the best time to stream. I find that most news drops around 4 or 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Wow, look at all the memberships. Oh, Landon, thanks for joining. Your dog is adorable. Jerome, so generous as always. And Gareth, you really are, doing the Golden Girls justice with your continued generosity. And then let's see here. And then Danny, thank you also for gifting a membership. Look at that. I love it. I love it. So we have some really interesting, juicy stories to talk about today. We're going to poll it up. I'm going to talk about my feelings. We're going to talk about your feelings. And then, of course, as always, at the end of the stream, you can ask me anything that you would like. Still kind of slow in Hollywood, though, overall, I got to say. It's pretty slow. Thanks, Tammy. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. You guys are great members of the BTT community. But yeah, it's still a little slow. I'm not quite sure what it's going to take to pick things up, but we'll see. I think everything will be fine. I think I think Hollywood is still recovering from the strikes. Haunted Autumn says Silver Surfer about to be more intimidating than Galactus. Well, let's see. We're going to have a really honest conversation about Julia Garner as the Silver Surfer. Hey, Devin. Thanks for gifting a membership. All right, keep your comments and questions to the story at hand. I might not answer your question or comment until I open up each story, okay, to questions and comments, and then of course at the very end, then you can ask me anything that you want. And Michael, thank you for reminding me. You might want to hit that like button, right? Just hit the like button. Maybe hit subscribe too. It would be appreciated. It's right there. You just got to click on it. Clickety click click. And I would appreciate it very much. Thank you, Drago. Thank you, Devin, for gifting memberships. Very, very generous of you. All right, here we go. Story number 1. Boop. All right, Julia Garner is the Silver Surfer, and it let off a lightning storm of conversation yesterday. Oh, it was tough. I hope Julia Garner understands what she signed up for. It ain't easy being a woman in this space. I can tell you from my own personal experiences. But I think Julia Garner, can take it. But, I do feel a little bad for her. I saw one Twitter account had they put up pictures of the whole cast. And I felt really bad for Julia Garner that they picked such an awful picture of her. I was like, come on, man, look how fierce she looks there. And she wears silver all the time. So it's like, why didn't you pick that picture? I tried to do her the best possible thing. I was like, she's got it hard. She's having a hard enough time, man. Can't you pick a nice photo of her? I really kind of sucked. All right, so anyway, we're going to talk. We're going to have an honest conversation about Julia Garner in just a minute. I guess I'll tell you, because you might want to know right off the bat. Would I have had a female Silver Surfer? No, I would not have. Okay? I just don't feel that it's worth the risk. The benefit versus reward thing just doesn't work. It's just not worth it. And I don't think it's worth it for the project, and I don't think it's worth it for the actress. However, I want to counter that with that I'm so tired of the negativity that it's really hard, Like part of me is like, why did we have to go down this path? But then the other part of me is like, we're not going to make it a negativity path. We're just not going to do it. It is what it is. It's an unfortunate situation, but I just don't want to have it's over a year till this movie comes out. I just don't want that kind of complaining for this long. I just, it's for a group that doesn't want anything to do with women, they sure do like to bitch a lot. It's like I just can't take it. So, and I have to also say that as a woman, I'm slightly insulted that this is like the worst thing that some groups can imagine. They're like, oh my God, it's a woman? You know, like, oh, hell is frozen. And you know, you're like, guys, I can understand you're a little disappointed, but it's not that bad. You know, like, you don't have to act like it's the apocalypse or something. It's just really annoying. You know, like you're like, I'm trying to be sympathetic. And I was like, well, what if they made Poison Ivy a guy? I'd be like, yeah, that seems like, I mean, like, also, I gotta tell you, I think it's hilarious that so many groups are like, not Silver Surfer. And you're like, tell me a really famous Silver Surfer story. I'm sure there's like one story that like a couple hundred people are like, it changed my life. But, you know, I gotta tell you, I even kind of like female Wolverine, Laura Kinney. I mean, that ended up being nice. This isn't replacing Norrin Rad. So, you know, it's just like that situation. And also, these are comic book characters. The genre is probably on its way out. Like, come on, man. Like, it's eating itself alive from the inside. You know, like it's so tough. All right? That's how I feel. Oh, look at all these members joining. Hey, Tiff. Hey, welcome back. Hey, Marcello, thanks for joining. So yeah, that's like kind of like how I feel about it. We'll talk about it a little bit more. And then also, I come from a place where, as you know, I love playing around with this stuff. Because, you know, that's what, you know, comic books are like. But there are some purists out there who, I mean, like, the comic book audience is so small compared to what the number of people who need to see the movie. Okay, so we'll talk about all that stuff in a minute. But it's just, it's getting to a point where it's going to be like Star Wars, where people are like, you know what? I just don't want to deal with it anymore. And I'm really nervous about that. You know, that's going to happen with comic book movies. If it isn't already too late, that people are like, I just don't want to be in this space. I mean, it happened to DC, it happened to Star Wars, and now it's happening to Marvel. And I just think, I think it's because the negativity has become a business, you know, just like what's happened to politics. And that's why it doesn't go away. And so this is just something that the entertainment industry is going to have to deal with. Barbie was brilliant in that it hit it until it was too late. But you can't hide who you cast as Silver Surfer. All right, here we go. Let's talk about some of the first stuff I want to talk about is we got some goodies today. Some intentional and some were like a hint. So let's talk a little bit about the Fantastic Four as a picture. Because I got to tell you, I don't think the movie is even a slam dunk all on its own. All right, so of course, obviously, we have the original poster. There it is. Ooh, Valentine's Day. Happier times. When the only crazy thing about this movie was it took place in the 1960s. Although a lot of people were already complaining about Reed, which is like, I'm like, you know what's driving this whole movie? Pedro Pascal. Let's just be honest. He's the best casting in the film, you know, as the way that it came together. So this is our poster, right? And then we got a new poster today. They sure love drawing this 1960s stuff. They're trying to turn 4-4 into a thing. They're like, it's April 4th. That's 2 4s, man. And you're like, eh. You know, like, I don't know. Isn't the 4th day of every month technically the Fantastic Four day? I mean, it's fine. But anyway, they released this nice poster, which, by the way, looks absolutely nothing like Joseph Quinn. I'm like, why doesn't it look like the actor? And they're like, because we kind of miscast him. And you're like, that's fair. So there he is, always on fire. And you can still see his sweater, though. He's like, his sweater game is strong. Okay? And so there he is. But I think the most important thing, which everybody pointed out, all right, was that the city is super retro. It's so retro, man. Oh, look at it. It's super retro. There it is. Oh, my God. It's a city of yesterday and tomorrow. I don't know if anybody wants that, but that's what we're getting. All right, so I think that really underscores that this, as I reported to you, is not the main 616. So it's a different universe, which is probably another reason that you have a female Silver Surfer. It's not the 616 Silver Surfer, so everybody calm the F down. It's this different universe that has a lady Silver Surfer. And probably Galactus is going to nom 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 eat the whole thing. He's going to be like, retro futuristic city, my favorite snack, delicious. Like Fantastic Four, the movie will end with a burp. Oh, a burp that will haunt Mr. Fantastic forever. He's like, let them eat my old world. So that's probably what's going to happen, right? So that's what we got today. And then some other people also pointed out that on the Marvel site, they're like, hey, do you want to read some Fantastic Four comics? And I'm like, dude, don't tell people today to read comics from the 1960s. It's not going to go well. Like, I wouldn't do it. But anyway, they're like, go read these super old comics. So you're like, all right. But you can see the Future Foundation is the logo. Ooh, there it is. There are the old comics. Don't read those. All right, then there's the Future Foundation, and there's the logo. Look, it's FF is a puzzle linked together. I love it. What is the Future Foundation? It's basically Epcot. All right? So they wear special costumes, and they train the students of tomorrow. They have interns, sometimes kids who work there. They all wear sweaters. It's like a utopia in the middle of the city. It's basically what, like, a lot of stuff is tried to do at this point. Like this. Hey, Chad, welcome back. Chad, where have you been? Tony Stark tried to do it, kind of. That's right. In the comics, it was a black and white costume, which was pretty nice. I really like the black and white costume, but you can see here. Oh, you got kicked out, Chad? What the heck? YouTube. So anyway, they were in blue and white, though. Okay. So anyway, Future Foundation's gonna get eaten. What happened to your old class? It'll be like Luke Skywalker all over again. We had all these students, and then we like Galactus eat them all. And as I said to Luke, I'm like, just maybe you're not a very good teacher. I'd be like, don't ask Reed about the Future Foundation. It went poorly for him. So yeah, the Future Foundation, I really liked it a lot. But here's the issue. At this point, a lot of other places have done the Fantastic Four really well. The Incredibles have done the Fantastic Four really well. And so have the Venture Brothers, by the way. So I think it's kind of scary. I'm like, hey, Marvel, you better be careful. I don't know if you can do them as well as these other things have done them. So we'll see. I am excited that it's the Future Foundation. I'm excited for their offices. Do they have a cafeteria? It's going to look like the offices of Mad Men. You know I love a good office building, so I'm very excited for that. I'm like, do you have a gift shop? It's like the United Nations to a degree. What's it look like? I'm sure there's a tour. I'd love to see that. So that to me is very exciting. It's going to be tons of world building, and then they're going to destroy it all and send them over to the 616. So that's fine. That's fine. All right, maybe they won't destroy it, but then why did they leave? Okay. It would be great if it was in the theme parks, Charlie. I gotta say, they kind of bundled the Marvel lands, but whatever. All right, so that poster, it's nice. It's nice. It just makes me want the other posters, though. I'm like, when am I going to get the other three? And also, I'm very curious to see the application of how is the Invisible Woman's poster just going to have nothing in it? Is it just going to be a blank picture with like a background? Or are they going to do the outline? Like that, I'm very curious to see. That's the one I'm the most interested in, which means it'll probably be last. Maybe it'll be at Comic-Con. All right. Or D23, more likely. I believe they start filming very soon. So that's pretty exciting. All right, so let's talk about our female Silver Surfer. We'll leave that Fantastic Four poster up just to remind you that this is a different situation. All right, and I'll do a poll, okay? Poll. Would you have done a female Silver Surfer? Yes, I think it's a great idea. A lot of drama, but I will support. Then this idea will end civilization as we know it. Oh, it's too long for the poll. We'll just say it will end civilization. So stupid. Let's see. That's a great idea. Those are fine options. Oh no! Stop! I don't want a fourth option. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, okay, good. I got rid of it. Okay. Again, anybody can vote in a poll. Only members can chat, but anyone can vote in a poll. So anyone can vote in a poll. If you're watching, you just click. Let your voice be heard. All right, let's talk about this casting. So, she's not playing Norrin Radd, okay? She is playing Shala Ball. I mean, come on, people. Who actually happens to be Norrin Radd's love interest, and from what I can discern, wasn't really the Silver Surfer for that long. All right? Like, for the most part, she wasn't the Silver Surfer, if we're being honest. She kind of got to silver up one time and like got to go and fly around with her boyfriend. But for the most part, she's not really a Silver Surfer. But there is something in the comics to support it, right? Not that much either. I was trying to find some artwork of her as the Silver Surfer, not just as Shala Ball in her human form. And that is like either the Silver Surfer holding her in his arms or this photo of her by herself are the only two images I could find. So I was like, you know, it is what it is. Now, why did they do this? What was Marvel's possible thinking? Now, this is obviously just my best possible guess. I wasn't in the room, but here are my thoughts. I think a big problem is the 2007 film, where they already had a male Silver Surfer, and that movie was not well received. So I think they're trying to distinguish it from that. Also, you can't top Doug Jones, who did the original acting, for the Silver Surfer. He's Guillermo del Toro's guy. He's an incredible contortionist. He was in Pan's Labyrinth. He, of course, was in Shape of Water. I mean, if you want someone to do a physical performance, he's your guy. And I have to say his Silver Surfer looked cool. Also, it's going to be real hard to top, obviously, the T-1000 and T2, who basically was also the Silver Surfer. So I think that that's kind of one thing. They were like, oh, but this one's a lady. Now you can tell the difference. So that's fine. I also feel that they wanted more female characters in the movie because right now there's only two, Vanessa Kirby and now Julia Garner is the Silver Surfer. However, I would counter that based on the rumors, those two women are the focus of the film, that the movie focuses on Sue Storm as the, basic lead, which I hope that they changed. I love Vanessa Kirby, so I don't want hate for her. I think the Fantastic Four movie should be Call Me Crazy about all of the people in the Fantastic Four. It's not called Sue Storm, the movie. It's called Fantastic Four. And I think that would benefit, Vanessa Kirby. I mean, look how Barbie was actually also very much about Ken and the other Barbies and about America Ferrera and her daughter. So I think those things are really important. All right? So I'm a little nervous about that, Then also, I think they probably felt how popular is the Silver Surfer, right? Although they had to know because this had leaked from some scoopers, anonymous scoopers, that people were not happy about it. So they had to know that this was going to be like a real S-storm of commentary. Like, don't feed the trolls, right? You don't have to line it up perfectly for them. And then also, I got to say, I think Julia Garner is a great actress. I really love her. I think she has an incredible look. I think she's going to look great in silver. I think look at those cheekbones. Look at that profile. Look at the nose. I mean, she just looks incredible. She's going to look so good in that role. So I think to some degree they were like, she's going to really pop. She's going to be incredible, But I'd be like, can she ever truly be incredible enough? So that's the next question. What will happen with this movie? Well, this is the seed of a problem, okay? Will it go to full DEFCON 4 or whatever? Well, or whatever the worst DEFCON is. Depends how good the movie is. If the movie's really good, if it's like The Dark Knight or The Joker, right? Like if it's that good, no one's going to care about Silver Surfer, especially if Julia Garner brings it. No one's going to be like, just can't get past it. You're going to get past it. But the movie would have to be that phenomenal. So then that becomes the biggest concern. Do people want, thanks Haunted Autumn, thank you to everybody gifting a membership. I think I also did, Danny, I thank Danny. Okay. Do people want a 1960s style Fantastic Four movie? I think the jury's still out on that. And I think that they didn't cast it for that audience. I think that Pedro Pascal is the only actor that plays into people who would be interested in a 1960s Fantastic Four style movie. I think everybody else is not a right fit. One of the great things, one of the reasons that WandaVision worked was that Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Catherine Hahn, these actors and actresses were perfect for that project. I don't really know if this is right. I'm a little nervous, you know? Again, I have to see it come together. And also, I think it's a change in aesthetic, just like what they're doing with Joker. We just discussed this. Can Joker switch to a musical? And can the MCU switch to like a 1960s thing? I got to tell you, Fallout will be an interesting test. And also, I got to tell you, Fallout is coming out first and is already doing this. And I think that I can't talk about Fallout too much. I've seen the first, how many episodes have I seen at this point? 3 out of 8. You can't do it better than Fallout is doing it. Fallout is perfect. So if people don't like Fallout, so there's 2 problems from that. If people don't like Fallout, well then people don't like this. But also if people fall in love with Fallout, then they're going to be like, oh, but wait a minute. I already saw Fallout. This is just Fallout, a ripoff of Fallout. I didn't even think about that until right now. Because that's exactly what Fallout is. And I'm amazed at how good it is. So that's interesting. Bye, Dale. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. All right, so let me close the poll and then, I had some other things I wanted to say. Would I have done it? As I said, no, I would not have done this. As I said, I think the risk-reward ratio is not in favor of doing it. I think you'll never get enough reward to make it worth taking the risk. So I wouldn't have done it. But I'm going to try and be supportive of it because I don't want to feed into this toxicity that I feel is ruining fandom and the industry. So I'm going to try really, really hard to support it and to try and really support Julia Garner. However, within reason. You know, like I am going to acknowledge if it's not working out. You know, the way I covered the Marvels. I tried really hard to support the Marvels, and I ended up actually thinking it was a pretty good movie. And certainly wasn't as bad as everyone said it was. But from a business standpoint, it was a colossal mistake. And I hope this isn't a similar situation. And again, as I said, I'm really offended that people are just like, not a woman. Oh my God. And you're like, slow your roll, pipe down, man. It's not the worst thing to ever happen. Like, come on. All right, let me close the poll and then you guys can ask me some questions about this and we can go over your comments. All right, a lot of drama, but I will support 50% of you. Okay, that's the camp that I'm in, right? 29% of you think that we'll end civilization. Oh my God, I hope you guys can recover. Oh, whew. And then 19% think only 19% think it's a great idea. That's pretty bad. But I'm not surprised either. Like, I'm not surprised that it's that low. Like I have to say, I think everybody likes elements of the Marvels, but we all knew it was a bad idea as soon as it was announced. We were like, don't make that movie. I'm still upset that Nelson Peltz equated Black Panther with the Marvels. It was such a horrible, disingenuous, misleading thing to do. You mean that lowest grossing movie of all time for Marvel with the one that made $1 billion and was the first Marvel movie nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture? That one? It was such an asshole thing to do. All right, Ski Free says, if the genre is on its way out because they prioritize stories and characters nobody is asking for to bring the audience, Sky Free, that's an interesting question. I think the comic book genre is on its way out, but I do not think that it's from changing characters. I think that the comic book genre is on its way out because it was oversaturated, and also it became a quality issue. But I think it's largely the oversaturation. For those of us who read comic books, we're used to things being similar. And we're like, yeah, those things are like exactly the same thing, but we don't care. I mean, you're talking about a fandom that reads at the peak, when comics were at their peak, I don't know about you, but I was reading 8 to 10 comic books a week. Now I read three to four, not counting my beloved Archie comics, which are my escape. But like 3 to 4 regular comics a week. Sad. But that's really the state of the comic book industry today. But still, we're used to following multiple storylines and characters that are similar simultaneously. I honestly feel that the mainstream moviegoer is just tired of superhero movies. And I think it's gotten to a point where they all feel the same. So things got to be you got to really be different and move the needle to make people care. This is going to parlay into our Supergirl discussion as well. So I think that's a really big issue. Hey, Bara. Hey, Ethan. Thank you. Let me get to the questions here. All right, hold on. Oralysis, thank you. All right, I'm going back to the questions. Okay. Yes, David, she is playing Shala Ball, or however you pronounce it. Akana says they should have recommended Fantastic Four Full Circle. Oh, maybe I'll read that. I haven't read a lot of... I'm not a big fan... I like the Fantastic Four as a concept. Haven't really loved their comics. Hey, Jenna. Thanks for joining BTT Inside Access. I like your photo there. David says, in a world where any woman in a film is attacked by toxic groups, Scarlett Johansson's Jurassic World casting is even more genius, as she's loved by everyone. Yeah, and she's not going to be the only character in the movie either. So I think that's good. Finn Moreau says, will comic book movies go the way of the Western and disappear completely, or there will still be comic book movies made here and there? I suspect that eventually they will take a break, just like Star Wars is taking a break. I'm curious to see how Joker 2 and Deadpool 3 do this year. That'll be a very big part of the decision. But I think they'll always be kind of around, just like they always make a Western here and there. But I think we're transitioning to video games. Let's see here. Devin says, hey, Grace, do you think X-Men will be brought into the MCU from an alternate universe like the Fantastic Four? I'm not sure. I think we're going to get a very good idea about that with Deadpool 3. I hope everything in Deadpool 3 doesn't leak. I really hope not. Ronnie says, maybe she's the surfer of their universe. I definitely think that's what it is, Ronnie. I like your photo, Ronnie. You look great there. Nora, you're given so much personality. Nora and Rad can still be the surfer of our MCU. Exactly. I think that's exactly what it is. I don't know why everybody's so upset about it. You know, they should say that Nora and Rad's going to be in the movie too. I mean, I guess that's how you could solve this. I'd be like, yeah, at the end of the movie, Nora and Rad's going to fly in, so don't worry about it. I don't want to hear it. AJ, we'll take the Valentine's Day thing down in a minute. Does it really offend you that much? Okay. Let's see here. The infamous Kiki, I like that Kiki, says the genre is going out because it's time. All things end. That's a funny way to put it, but I think there's some truth to it as well. Something, just especially when you're going pedal to the metal, it just can't go on for that long. Ivan Montero says Matt Shankman directed Welcome to Chippendales, which was set in the 70s and 80s, and I enjoyed the vibe he set up. That's interesting you say that, Ivan, because I really did not like Welcome to Chippendales. I thought I had such high hopes for it, but I thought that was not a good show. And so that does not make me feel good about Matt Shankman. Griffin says the multiverse films really invited a flood of oversaturation. Well, I think it's that. I think it was the unfortunate Disney Plus directive to do a whole bunch of stuff. And then I think it was other studios being like, we want to be in here too. And they like just ruined the party. DC was like, oh, we want to come in here and make a gabillion movies that are not good. And then, other companies, like Fox for a while when they still had their properties. And then Sony is like, yeah, let's make all these Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man. And everyone's just like, what are you doing? You're ruining it. And so I think that's a big part of what it was. Oh, who was that? Who just said that? Someone said they were reading 15 comics a month. Wasn't that a glorious time? It was glorious! Oh, I miss those days so much. I used to be like, am I spending too much money on comics? And now I'm like, should I cancel my, that Dancing Dog 60 said. I was like, now I'm like, should I cancel my Comixology membership? Because they don't honor what's supposed to be free every week, and I'm tired of asking for a refund. And also, just on a side note, because I'm a little upset about it, because they shut down the Comixology division, if you want help, you have to just speak to an Amazon customer service rep, and none of them read comics. So they're like, what's the problem? And you're like, if you read comics, you would totally understand what the problem is. Why do I have to explain comics to you? All right, iReady says, Mad Men did a good job at the end of the era with the 1960s, and Marvel should lean into something similar with transitioning to a new world. Yeah, are they going to have the social commentary? I mean, I don't know. I mean, do we even want it? Look at Joe, went from 9 to 0 a month. I feel bad. I feel your pain, Joe. Stephen Carrier says, what are the essential Fantastic Four elements that need to be present for this iteration to finally work? What was missing and what worked with the other 3 films? Basically, it's supposed to be like The Incredibles. Family, I think, big focus on science, and very Epcot-y. I think that none of the other Fantastic Four movies played into that 1960s Epcot, City of the Future feel that you want. Although they already did that a little bit with Tony Stark's dad. So, Ariel Knight says, who is this choice for? Who is this movie for? That's the question, Ariel Knight. I'm feeling maybe nobody. Makes me a little nervous. Like Tomorrowland was a hardcore flopola. I mean, it wasn't a good movie, but I mean, didn't work. Thanks, Niall. That's a nice thing to say. Ethan says, slightly off topic, but still about Marvel. Do you think if they brought back Wanda, it would save Marvel? Not at this point. I don't even think she wants to come back. Hey, Ryan Risley. Jander says, I'm happy for her after the Madonna movie fiasco. Yeah, I sure hope this turns out not to be another fiasco for her. I'm nervous about it. AJ68 says, hey, Grace, I'm so worried for the MCU X-Men take that at the moment I wish they stayed animated. But was anyone watching the animated series? I feel like it really fell off a cliff, which makes me sad. R-rated animated movies are hopefully what they will do with the X-Men. I don't know. I'm really excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm really excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. Couldn't be more excited for that movie. It better not let me down. I'm pinning all my hopes and dreams on Deadpool and Wolverine, both as a fan and as someone who covers the industry. I'm like, this movie has got to deliver. Oliver says, it sucks that anytime the MCU tries to do anything interesting, people react this way. Yeah. I'm surprised that people are that into the Silver Surfer. I'm like, oh, really, guys? Jamal says, hi, Grace, viewer for over 10 years. Yay! A female Silver Surfer should be okay. Usually not a fan of pointless gender bends, but this one seems like a good switch. Yeah, that's how I feel. If toxic fandom didn't exist, I'd be perfectly fine with it. It would not bother me at all. But then again, I'm not a hardcore Silver Surfer fan. Although, again, I'm like, where are the hardcore Silver... Someone's like, my whole life I've been waiting for Silver Surfer. And you're like, what? Hey, Nova Star. Oh, I like your photo. It's Sue Storm. Let's see here. Dominique Odom, I like your name, says, with Thanos or Loki gender swapped in their first MCU appearances, why is this criticism hard to understand? Well, first of all, I think that it just makes no sense to put Silver Surfer on the same level as those two characters. And then also, you already got a male Silver Surfer. You got that. And I didn't see anybody flocking to that movie when it came out. I didn't see people running and celebrating and dancing in the hills saying, we finally got Silver Surfer. Well, actually, they kind of did a little bit. I remember people were very excited about that. And you got a great Silver Surfer. You got it. Let's see here. Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, the Silver Surfer is the herald of Galactus. They're kind of like a slave to Galactus. They have to search out snacks for him, basically. They're like Uber Eats for Galactus. I love that. So Galactus is really hungry, so he pulls up his Silver Surfer app and he says, what planets are available? And Silver Surfer is like, okay, here's what we got. And, Galactus decides who he likes. And Silver Surfer's idea is to go and also to prep the planet, right? Sometimes he gets the people off the planet, sometimes he doesn't. And sometimes he's like, this is wrong, Galactus. And he fights Galactus. And that's kind of what it is. That's right. Oh, that's funny, Haunted Autumn. Maybe DoorDash is even better for a Silver Surfer. Silver Dash. So that's kind of what it is. That's basically what Galactus is. So, maybe she's going to show up and be like, your universe is doomed. Your planet's doomed. Galactus is going to eat it. And then maybe she and Sue Storm will have like a heart-to-heart as two women and be like, we just can't let this happen. And then maybe that'll be the story. We'll see. All right, I think you guys are look at you guys booping on to the next story. All right, let's boop. Let's boop on out of here. We talked about this for almost 40 minutes. All right. Story number 2. Hold on, here it comes. Boop. All right. Speaking of movies that nobody asked for. Who looks at today's marketplace with the way female-led superhero movies are performing and says, you know what, I think we should make a Supergirl movie. I'm like, what are you smoking over there, man? Hey, Blair Wraith says, wouldn't it be neat if Stark Tower gets bought out and turned into the Baxter Building? That would be funny. And GD says, think the audience is tired of changing the iconic characters. Maybe. All right, so here's the situation here. So yes, I am surprised that they would make a Supergirl movie in this environment. And also that they would go from Superman right into Supergirl. When Superman's always been a tough sell. Okay? I don't even know, like when they decided to do it with Zack Snyder, even then I was like, people don't really love Superman. I mean, I know there are people who have Superman tattoos and they swear that Superman is their favorite character, but it's a really hard character to sell at every level. From the comics to the animation to the movies, it's just very difficult. I mean, obviously Christopher Reeve was iconic, but even after the first movie, it was a little tough, right? And I have to tell you, the Superman comics right now suck. I tried to read them. I tried. They have very nice art. Also, they gave Superman this huge family. Superman is not Batman. Superman does not work with a bunch of supporting characters. I don't want to see Superboy and Supergirl and like all the other Superman variants. And I don't want to see these two little kids that he somehow seems to have adopted from Krypton that came out of nowhere. I just feel like it doesn't really work for him, you know? Like I can see that some of you are like all in on Superman, but it just isn't the same, okay? So, I mean, maybe James Gunn can change it, but I mean, that's a tall ask. And I wouldn't base my entire career and the future of my entire cinematic universe on doing something that no one else has been able to do. But again, I feel like he's really single white femaling Zack Snyder. So I think that's a huge part of why he decided to do it, which is weird. All right, also, I feel that Warner Brothers might be like, everybody loved Barbie. This is Super Barbie. And I'm like, I don't know. Barbie was like kind of like Pink Lightning. I don't even know if they can repeat that success. And I would also say that they are certainly not shaping up to have a Barbie-type production here. I don't love the Millie Alcock casting, to be honest with you. I think it's fine. I think that this is probably going to be based on the Michael Turner version of Supergirl. You know, very Supergirl at the mall, right? Very hot topic. Maybe that'll work. That worked very well for Harley Quinn, but Harley Quinn had a major cheesecake factor, which they are not putting in with Supergirl. Maybe if they had like a cheesecake element, that's what they're missing, I think, at the moment. Which Michael Turner's Supergirl did have, by the way. That's interesting. But I think that that's just something I think that would have probably benefited the character to help standing on her own. Well, J. Jonah Jameson, is Supergirl innocent? I mean, the Michael Turner version of the character is not. They didn't really seem to be going for the farm girl version of the character with the casting that they chose. To me, this is more like the Michael Turner version, who got all goth punk. Remember when Darkseid took her over, Like that to me is kind of like more where they're heading a little bit more. I think that seems like the version of the character that James Gunn might gravitate towards. So, okay, I can kind of understand that choice. But then here's the other thing. What's going on with the creative ownership? You know what? I got iHeart Movies. This is supposed to be based on The Woman of Tomorrow. And that's how James Gunn sold this. However, he has since clarified and said that it would be loosely based on The Woman of Tomorrow, which to me probably says not at all based on The Woman of Tomorrow. And I do feel that the Woman of Tomorrow storyline would be a mistake with today's audiences because it's just so female-centric and it involves two women hunting down a toxic guy. I mean, you got to be crazy to make that movie today. Absolutely insane. Sydney Sweeney maybe would have been a better choice, Dancing Dog 60, because I don't think she's making Barbarella anytime soon. I actually maybe would have gone with Sydney Sweeney, considering her Euphoria character. She's kind of playing Supergirl. That maybe would have been a good choice. But they didn't go with that character. They went with someone who was also in-house, Millie Alcock, right? So, I mean, that's one of the downsides of getting an idea stuck in your head. James Gunn said he saw House of the Dragon, and he was like, there's Supergirl. And you were like, but maybe not. So I don't know. We'll see. But here's the biggest problem, okay? Who has creative ownership over this movie? Is it James Gunn? And that might be affecting, when you think about it, his ability to land a director. Because whoever decides to work with him has to work in his shadow. And I have some concern about that. Like, when I was typing in the metadata for today's video, I didn't want to just say Craig Gillespie's Supergirl. I felt that it wouldn't perform as well as a video. So I said Craig Gillespie is going to direct James Gunn's Supergirl because it's the Gunverse. And James Gunn isn't writing Supergirl. He's not directing Supergirl. But his fingerprints sure are all over it, even down to the casting. And he cast it before a director was even hired, which is a very unusual thing to do. So that is also something to consider. Now let's talk about Craig Gillespie. Craig Gillespie has directed he's directed a lot, Lars and the Real Girl. He also directed this very good movie, actually, about a ship lost at sea with Chris Pine in it. Some kind of storm movie, which I actually loved. But his claim to fame is Cruella and I, Tonya. And I got to tell you, I don't think he's a good choice for this material. I think that he is a little bit too comedic. I think he's a little too edgy for what people probably want from Supergirl. And I got to say, The Finest Hours. Thank you, Dolly Parton. And I have to say, that's so funny, the Fonz. You're getting a little bit ahead of me, but I'm going to talk about what you said in just a moment. But I feel that these movies are not big, epic blockbusters. I feel he's too experimental. I don't know if he can do something that's truly mainstream. He might be able to get a cult fandom for this movie. I certainly wouldn't give him $100 million. I don't know how much Cruella cost. Let's see. Let's see how much Cruella cost. I liked Cruella from a fan perspective. From a business perspective, I had problems with it, business-wise. It cost $100 to $200 million. Oh my God. Yeah. Way too much money. Like I'd say Craig, if you could make this movie for 60 to 80 million, okay. But I wouldn't have picked him. I wouldn't have cast, this is not the Supergirl movie that I would make. I'm open to being surprised, but I feel that these are not great choices. So let me ask you, I promised you a poll. Start a poll. Do you think Craig Gillespie? No, let me ask, what do you want out of a Supergirl movie? You should say classic, innocent Supergirl. modern Supergirl. I don't want a Supergirl movie. And then I guess, is there anything else? No, that's fine. Okay. So that's my thoughts on it. Again, and I also feel that I think that it's just the current state of superhero projects, as I just said, I think this is just too much more of the same. I will say that I feel that the next project that I would follow up Superman Legacy with would be the Green Lantern HBO series or Max series. I think that a Green Lantern murder mystery story that had multiple episodes so you could really dive into it would be something new and fresh for the DC space, which hasn't really been done. Like, don't do more Superman stuff. Don't do more Titans. I think Green Lantern would take it in a really cool new direction that would be different than what they've done before, tonally, structurally, and it would be very, very different from Superman Legacy, even though Guy Gardner is in the movie. So that's just what I would have preferred, you know? Ivan says that's HBO's Watchmen. Yeah, but Watchmen was very political. I wouldn't have politics in the Green Lantern show. I would just do a mystery. I would just do a really good murder mystery or a space mystery of some kind. That's what I would have done. But I don't know. But again, I got to tell you, it's just too many comic book projects. I honestly feel people are like, it's just too much. Blair Wraith said Gunn did a great job with Gamora, Mantis, and Nebula. You know what, Blair? I think eventually he did, but I think all those characters started out weak, although he did cast them well, to his credit. I will agree with that. And then I think that he did not, I think the Russo brothers really upgraded Nebula. But yeah, I think that's true. Mantis and Nebula in particular ended up being really great. Steven says they could Dune the Green Lantern franchise. Yeah, they could maybe, you know? Alex says, what about having Millie trying to be a Supergirl type like the Supergirl in the Flash film? No, people, I mean, then why would you recast Sasha Calle? Then that's just a mean thing to do. All right, let me see let me close the poll. 42% of you would like a modern Supergirl. So that's very interesting. So, maybe James Gunn's on to something there. 35% of you don't want the movie at all, which doesn't surprise me. And then 21% of you want the classic innocent Supergirl. I hope this isn't another fracturing of the audience where, people just want different things from the character because there have been so many iterations. That's also always a problem. This isn't for streaming, Dan and Drew. This is supposed to be for theatrical. But I got to tell you, the way it's shaping up, if they ended up on streaming, it wouldn't surprise me. I liked Sasha Calle too. I thought she did a great job. She was really great. She can feel good about the performance she turned in. Steve's trying to fast forward. I think we are ready for the next story. Okay. SMR Goose agrees with me that, a fractured audience based on the poll. Mark Burns, see ya. Oliver says, Gillespie's work isn't very cinematic, but neither is James Gunn's work, come to think of it. I just don't want the DCU to feel cheap or unprofessional. Craig Gillespie is kind of a fit with James Gunn, though, in terms of, edgy comedy. So maybe that's another reason that he's being chosen. I mean, let's see. All right, let's go to the third story of the day. Here we go, everybody. Here it comes. Boom, baby. All right. Disney stock slightly down yesterday because of the story, right? Thank you, Emmanuel, for gifting a membership. And Tiff, I thought Supergirl was pretty good in Injustice 2. Yeah, she was good. All right, so the Disney stock went down just a scooch yesterday, right? But the Paramount stock went up. Oh, why did it go up? Because Paramount entered into a 30-day guaranteed negotiation window with Skydance to settle a deal. So that means they won't consider any other proposals for 30 days, which means the deal's probably going to happen. So it looks like we've got a deal, baby. So let's talk about it a little bit. So Sherry Redstone, it turns out, Skydance, John Daniel. Skydance is an independent production company, which also I think has the ability to finance films. So a lot of times studios don't finance films totally themselves, and sometimes not at all themselves. For instance, Legendary. Skydance is a company like Legendary. And in fact, Legendary started out purely as a film finance company and then decided to start producing films as well. Skydance is the Ellison family. I guess we'll back up a little bit. So Larry Ellison is the founder of Oracle, which is like a telecommunications or something company, right? So Oracle has just so much money. It's such an incredibly successful company that it just made so much money that Papa Ellison was able to buy careers for his kids. Very similar to the way that Phil Knight who founded Nike, was able to buy a career for his kid Travis Knight with Leica Animation. He's like, son, would you like to make movies? Here's a huge check. Okay? It's like the ultimate Nepo babies. Not just connections, but collateral. All right? You're able to not only open doors through connections, but you can finance it. I mean, it's just absolutely, it's like front of the line ticket. So that's the Knight family did. So as for the for the Oracle, Larry Ellison family, it turns out that both of his children wanted to work in Hollywood. So David Ellison got Skydance, okay, which is a mainstream, moderately successful company. I mean, they produced some successful movies, largely with Tom Cruise. That's probably their most successful partnership. And then they make some movies that aren't so great, okay? And then Megan Ellison, of course, was behind Annapurna, which made some waves, but ultimately ran itself into the ground, right? That's all three of them right there. That's Larry Ellison, Papa Ellison all the way on the left, Megan in the middle, and David on the right. So Sherry Redstone decided that she didn't want to break up her father's legacy. After she pried it out of his cold, dead hands, Succession is partially based not only on the Murdochs, but also the Redstones. So she was like, she wants the cash, but she doesn't want to have destroyed the company. She doesn't want people to be like, that's Sherry. She ruined not only would she have ruined the legacy of Paramount, but also she would be responsible for a lot of people getting fired. Let's not kid ourselves. There are a lot of people who are going to get fired anyway, but it would be absolutely horrible and just even worse catastrophe if she were to, just divide it up that way. So she made it a part of the deal that the company had to be kept as a whole. So I think that's probably the reason that Warner Brothers was like, peace out, because they didn't want the whole thing. They were like, we don't want this whole thing. David Ellison loves to strip stuff for parts. David Zaslav loves to strip stuff for parts. So she had two people who wanted to buy the whole thing. Hey, Isaiah. She had two people who wanted to buy the whole thing. Byron Allen, the African-American business person that we were talking about, right, who owns the Weather Channel. And he got his bid all the way up to $26 billion. He said, Sherry, I'll buy the whole thing. And I think it's a little sketchy that she didn't take him up on his offer. Like I told you, I think it's partially because he's like an outsider in Hollywood still, okay? But I think it might also be for other reasons. I feel bad for Byron Allen. I feel like the guy offered $26 billion and he didn't get it. I mean, unless the Ellisons offer a substantial amount more, it better be more than $26 billion, or we're all going to be side-eyeing everybody over at Paramount. We're going to be like, interesting. I mean, Sherry better be like, Larry Ellison, you got to write me a check for $28 billion. It's got to be more than 26, or you're going to make her look absolutely horrible. So poor Byron. All right, so it looks like it's going to sell to the Ellisons. So Tom Cruise, some of you wrote me that Tom Cruise was somehow a part of this deal. He's not a part of the deal. Tom Cruise works with Skydance a lot. So this kind of puts him in a little bit of a weird position because, of course, he just signed a deal with Warner Brothers thinking they were all going to be family members. And then Warner Brothers was like, no, thank you. So Zazie kind of like hung him out to dry a little bit. Unless, of course, Tom Cruise is just focused on trying to make a different type of movie these days. And he's not exclusive to Warner Brothers. Okay? So he can still make his big blockbusters with Paramount, although Tom Cruise, even though he is just a work machine, there are only so many hours in a day. So he can't make every movie right away, and they really want him to make Top Gun 3. So he'll probably maybe make like one Warner Brothers movie, right? But I think Tom Cruise is probably at this point, at some point he's going to just go into, he wants an Oscar overdrive, but I don't think he's there yet. Because here's the thing, he's never gotten an Oscar. But I think the only way he's going to get an Oscar, I think, is if he does like a Paul Newman, like when he gets like much older and he's playing like the grandpa roles, right? That's when he's going to get an Oscar, when he has to really let his guard down. And he kind of let his guard down already in Top Gun Maverick, which was one of the things that was so great about that performance. Like he finally admitted to being short on screen. He was like, all right, guys, it's time to admit I'm short. And we were like, oh, we're so happy for you, Tom. Good for you. Aren't you happier just like living in the truth? And he was like, yeah, I'm still cool. We're like, you are still cool, Tom. You look amazing down there. So and I think that's one of the reasons he was nominated for an Oscar for that performance, because he just did such a great job. So I think that's right, Ivan. He's going to have to take the grandpa roles. And I think at that point, he will get an Oscar. He will definitely get an Oscar eventually. For sure. It might end up being an honorary Oscar, but he'll take it. But that's what I think it's going to be. He's been nominated 4 times before. Born on the 4th of July, Jerry Maguire, Magnolia, and then again, of course, Top Gun Maverick. But yeah, so I think right now he's going to focus on, I'm glad you guys like my joke. I think, right now he's going to focus on making lots of money still. He's going to bank that money. And then I think he'll eventually, what's an honorary Oscar, Justin? It's what poor Angela Bassett had to settle for. And of course, which Peter O'Toole so infamously said, I wish I could have won the sucker outright, but I'll take it. So, but it's still an Oscar. You still got an Oscar. But I just think that Tom Cruise will continue to pump out like the big movies where he's going to make a lot of money. More Mission Impossibles, Top Gun Maverick 3. Because he's getting close to the grandpa roles. And so I'd say maybe in about 10 years, then he'll just be like Oscar, 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 and I think he'll get it. So, good for that guy. Dory Does Voice that says, do you think Angela is done? Of course. No, of course not. Angela Bassett will work forever. She's just that iconic. But will she ever have another chance to get an Oscar? I think it's unlikely, to be honest with you. I think it could happen, but I think they'll feel she already has this honorary Oscar, and she does do stuff like network television still. And she was in Damsel on Netflix. I mean, Angela, and there's no shame in that. You get paid, Angela Bassett. You get paid. She shouldn't put her hopes and dreams on an Oscar that she should have already won. She should have won for Black Panther 2. But I think that the reality of it is she got her Oscar, and I think maybe it would be great if someday she does get an Oscar, but she can feel really good about her honorary Oscar, and she should just make that money. And no matter what happens going forward, Angela Bassett is a Hollywood royalty. She will be a name that is forever known as one of the great actresses in Hollywood. And that's really fantastic. Very few people can say that they achieved that, and she should feel really good about it. I did see her get her Oscar. It wasn't during the main telecast, poor Angela, but she got it from the better host. She got it from John Mulaney, and she was just really wonderful, and it was just really nice to see. Yeah, Kay Walton just pointed out, I didn't know that she was a producer on that 911 show. Do you know how much money Angela Bassett is making off that show if she's a producer on it? Oh my God. That is Angela Bassett should be so proud of herself. That's incredible. Like, she is just printing. If you get a network show, which also, by the way, is doing very well on Hulu, Disney Plus, it was in the top 10 when I was talking about it on Movie Math this past week. She's making so much freaking money. I'm so impressed. Angela Bassett is like a true queen. She's like she and Margot Robbie. I love to see these women winning, both as actresses and talent, but also as businesswomen. I love it. Hey, Predian. All right, anybody have any questions or comments? And then we'll go on to the Q&A where you can ask me anything. I did not know she was the producer of that show. I am in awe. I am in awe of how much money she's making off that show. She's probably wealthier than most people who've ever won an Oscar. That's how good network television is. I love Viola Davis, Lloyd Lester. Love her. Okay, I think you guys are ready for the Q&A. All right. Oh, Adam, happy early birthday. Happy early birthday. I'm so thrilled to give you a shout out. Maria, I don't think Angela Bassett will retire. If ever. I don't think Angela Bassett will ever retire because she can always do a movie here and there. iHeartMovie says, I'm thinking about either watching The Bear or Gen V now that I'm done watching The Boys. Which one do you think I should watch first? That's a tough question. I think I would watch Gen V because Gen V is going to play into The Boys season 4, which is starting extremely soon. But then also you got to watch The Bear right after that because you got to be able to be ready to party with us when season 3 drops in June. You got to get on this now, iHeartMovies. You got to get on it now. You got to watch all of it. All right. Q&A time. Booyah! 10 minutes. It's 6:35 until 6:45. My top 3 Tom Hanks movies. I guess I got to go Forrest Gump because it's so famous. Toy Story, although I didn't like the way Toy Story ended, so it might be kind of not like all of Toy Story. Let me look up Tom Hanks. I got to tell you, though, you can just throw a dart at Tom Hanks' resume and you'd hit a good movie. He's a really great performer. A League of Their Own. Oh, I watch that all the time. I never get tired of it. Apollo 13. Saving Private Ryan, obviously, if you want to cry a whole bunch. Oh, I'm going to watch Catch Me If You Can again soon because I don't remember it very well. That's on my list. I like to watch movies that that are like from recent but not too recent. It's like a fun escape for me. Let's see here. Captain Phillips is obviously great. Saving Mr. Banks. Oh my God, I love that movie. He was a pretty good Mr. Rogers. I liked him in Elvis, actually, even though it was weird. I kind of liked Greyhound. Boy, he's been off his game a lot. And then, you know what? I got to tell you, Finch was a pretty good movie. Where he was hanging out with a robot in the apocalypse. I liked it. All right, that's more than 3, but I hope that's helpful. Warren P. says, Grace, do you think network television will make a comeback? I don't know about network television, but I think the style of network television might make a comeback. Solid Unit says, what do you think of Father from Raised by Wolves as Silver Surfer casting instead? People are just going to complain about that, race bending, like, I'm excited for Abu Bakr Salim to be in House of the Dragon. That's very, very exciting to me. That's what I want for him. I don't want these actors to have to deal with this toxicity anymore. I really hate it for them. Michael B. Jordan never recovered from playing Johnny Storm. He will always be a little, and I feel bad I feel bad he has to carry that with him forever. I wish he would let it go. He shouldn't let people do that to him. Oh, look at all the Tom Hanks love. Oh yeah, Road to Perdition, Kay Walton. Great choice. I've been watching a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio lately. I rewatched The Departed. That was such great replayability. Andrew says, thoughts on Albert Kim stepping down as the showrunner from Avatar in favor of executive producing Percy Jackson, with executive producers, you wrote this out very well, Andrew, Christine Boylan and Jabbar Rassani taking over for seasons 2 and 3. I liked Avatar, but I got to tell you, it's not great that they had him leave. I think it's it means that they feel like the show needs work. But I mean, they aren't going to change the actors. So let's see what they do. I personally feel it probably just means it's probably going to get worse. Because I thought it was good the way it was. Although I just recently rewatched Korra and everything and all the other Avatar episodes. I had such a good time. There's just no way they'll be able to be as good as that. So in my opinion is bring on more of the animated Avatar from the original creators. And so that's really what I would like at this point. Korra was so good. Haunted Autumn says, don't laugh, favorite soup. Oh, I'm not going to laugh at anything that you ask. I am struggling to decide which type of soup to make next. You're making it from scratch? That's impressive. Much love to you in the BTT community. Well, you can't go wrong with a good chicken noodle, but I also like baked potato soup, even though you really can't eat that, but it's really Houlihan's baked potato soup. That takes me back. I like a good chicken tortilla. I like turkey chili. That's delicious. Soup is hard to make, though. Once a friend of mine made vegetable soup, and I was like, this is just vegetables floating in water. And she was like, I know it is. But we're going to try and do it. All right, Jas Tandon says, Man of Steel had a prestigious cast. Superman Legacy looks cheap with no Oscar cast members. Look, CW said. I can see from your picture, Jas, that you're not impartial, though. It even has discount Henry Cavill. Still will watch, though. I feel your pain, Jas. But, I got to tell you, I don't think, the Man of Steel was, okay, but it didn't turn out great. I mean, I ended up liking it more than I thought I would, but I still thought it had issues. Let's see here. Lizzie says, not asking for specifics, but does the MCU know its X-Men lineup already for its movies? Or is it dependent on the script? I think they have a pretty good idea probably who's going to be in Secret Wars. Let's see here. Anna Kosol, so nice to see you, says, how do you feel about Star Trek 4 finding a new screenwriter and starting back up production with Steve Hockey? I don't even know who Steve Hockey is off the top of my head, I'm sorry to say. Let me Google him. I don't really know if anybody wants more Star Trek. Although people sure are loving the Paramount Plus shows. Paramount is so aggressive, though, that's why nobody covers the shows really on YouTube. Steve Yockey did The Flight Attendant and Supernatural and stuff. Ooh. I don't feel good about it, Anna. But again, I'm always open to being surprised. I forgot what time we were going to stop talking. So let me do a couple more. Let's see here. Whew, a lot of questions. Hold on. I'm going back here. All right. Kayla says, how does Hollywood help young stars? What can we do to support young stars? Be nice to them on social media. That will really help them. Hollywood they feel, what are your TikTok followers? What are your Instagram and Twitter followers? If you like a young star, go find their social media accounts and follow them and tweet about them all the time, because then producers will feel they have heat. That's honestly what I would say is the best thing you can do for them. Let's see here. Drago NYC says, Grace, any info on the firing of... We already talked about the X-Men 97 firing. Apparently he was very difficult to work with. Maria Espino says, what are your favorite, say, 5 directors of all time? Oh, and what do you want to see in season 2 of House of the Dragon? I'm just excited. I am excited for Abu Bakr Salim, to be in House of the Dragon. I'm excited to, I'm glad they have more diversity on that show. I think it only went medium for season 1, so I'm hoping that it goes better for season 2. And more Matt Smith. I love Matt Smith. As for my favorite 5 directors of all time, it would have to be Steven Spielberg, Alfred Hitchcock, Ryan Coogler. I want somebody new in there. Christopher Nolan. I'll do it. I mean, he is pretty iconic. And Greta Gerwig. I'll support Greta Gerwig, goddammit. So those are my 5. All right. Let's see here. Mr. Magic. Always so nice to see you. Subscriber since the beginning, but member for a year. Huzzah! Been waiting all day for the live stream. I'm glad I helped make your day better, Mr. Magic. You made my day better, too. Let's see here. Ruju says, Grace, are you into watches? Nope, don't own a watch. I got my phone. I don't need a watch. You'll actually notice that I never wear any jewelry because I don't like the way I look in it. So I actually don't wear any jewelry ever. I own a couple of bracelets and rings. Like, I like plasticky, clunky, like kind of big stuff. If a superhero would wear it, I would do it. But I just don't like the way I look in it. I think it doesn't work with my features. So you'll notice I don't actually wear anything. Movie Turtle says, joining late, but have you seen the new Tales of the Empire Star Wars trailer today? I actually did not see it, but I did see that it was trending. I guess I'll go check it out if you ask me to look for it. Look at all the broccoli cheddar soup recommendations. I don't know if I can get behind cheese soup, although I guess potato soup isn't that much different. Charlie Michael says, hi Grace, glad to finally make another stream. What scoop are you proudest of being the first to break? I guess the Vanessa Kirby one, because people actually give me credit for it. And also the James Gunn Superman, the Middle East storyline, that was beautiful, the way it ended up being proven correct. I mean, that was gorgeous. That was a thing of beauty. And here's the thing. I don't mind that he changed it. I just don't be an asshole about it. I got no problems with James Gunn, besides his behavior towards me. No problems. Charlie Michael says, hi Grace, glad to finally, oh, you already asked me. Okay, Rodney Dollar says, hey Grace, any thoughts on the upcoming Scarlett and Channing film trailer out on Monday? I don't really know why everybody's making such a big deal about it, but I'll take a look. I mean, I don't know why they're releasing anything on Monday. Isn't that the day of the solar eclipse? I mean, maybe it's to coincide with that. I'm still nervous about how I'm going to handle the solar eclipse. I mean, I'm not sure if my glasses are good. You know, the special glasses that my family ordered. I don't want to hurt my eyes. Hey, Joey Angelo. Boy, am I far behind here. Let me fix this up here. Sean Turner says, Jodie Comer rumored for 28 days later. I don't know. I'm worried about Jodie Comer at this point. She's not working out. Finn Moreau says, will you cover the new Avatar cartoons from Brike? Oh, yeah, of course. That's what I just said I'm excited about. Anna says, hey, Grace, have you had a chance to see the trailer for Dan Stevens' new horror film set in the German Alps? What? That's crazy. No, I haven't seen it. I'll try and check that out. Oh, Franco says, the first soup I ever made was for my father. It was a lovely and cherished memory. Wow, Franco, that sounds like a lovely and cherished memory. Carson says, did you see the Tiana animatronics? They are incredible. They do look great. I'm so excited. I'm very excited for that. A lot of good Disney news. And they said they're going to have Disney theme park news. And they said they're going to really bring it at D23 with announcements. So a video. I'll make a video for sure. I'll be covering D23 like crazy. Jacob, I haven't watched Shogun. I'm on my screeners. I'm watching Fallout. And then I'm going to try and see if I can get the Sympathizer in time. I'm not sure. Also, I'm watching Manhunt, which I really like. Wandering Seth says, you prefer to drive or to be driven? That's such an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know. Jenna Brankman says, hi, Grace and BTT community. I'm so excited to be a member after being a loyal subscriber for many years. I'm so glad you are too, Jenna. Thanks for all the amazing, thank you for, oh, you're saying that to me. Thank you so much, Jenna. I'm so excited to have you as part of the community. That was very generous of you. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the lives. It's going to be really a lot of fun. Let's see here. Is Yellowstone going to have a theme park? That's funny if they are. Joey Angelo, thank you for gifting a membership. Emmanuel, I do plan to review the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Hey, the boy wonder. I like the way you did your name with zeros. Let's see here. Did I miss another super chat? Let me see if I missed any. Sometimes it skips ahead on me. I can't help it. I can't go back any further. I'm sorry. Dory Does Voices says, do you think Channing Tatum can still be Gambit? He's got one opportunity left, and that's Deadpool and Wolverine. So if it's going to be there anywhere, it's going to be there. Elise says, how good is Manhunt? You know, once you get into it, I actually think it's really interesting. And it's so timely to see what it was like. I can't believe it's so many years later in the United States and we're still fighting over the same stuff. It's really sad. Let's see here. Nova Star says, so you're so excited for Invisible Woman. I can tell, Nova Star. I hope Vanessa Kirby works out. I'm excited. M says, who would you cast as Rogue? I'm not sure. But you got to get I'm not sure. I get a little nervous because of the situation with, everybody wanting her to suck out Carol Danvers' powers, which I think is mean. Prettian says, hey, Grace, new member here. Who do you think is the best deceased actor never to win an Oscar? Not even an honorary one. I'll go with 3 Brits. Richard Burton, James Mason. Isn't it incredible that James Mason never won? But you know what I like about your comment? Dirk Bogarde. Dirk Bogarde is the evil Desi Arnaz. He looks very similar to Desi Arnaz, but he makes all these really weird British movies. Like he's in this movie called The Butler, which is like so bizarre. I remember watching it in film school. But Dirk Bogarde is a fantastic actor, and he's like a favorite of mine. So, but all 3 of those, that's incredible. It just goes to show that great, talented people sometimes don't win an Oscar, and that doesn't mean their careers aren't incredible. Cool Hive, I gotta be honest with you. I haven't seen the 3-Body Problem show, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it so much. But we're gonna talk about it on Movie Math on Sunday, but those ratings are not good. I don't think it's gonna get renewed. All right, let's see here. Nikita, I will review Challengers, but I'm going to be late on my review. I won't make the embargo, which is very early, but I will be reviewing it like shortly right after because my screening's a little after because of I had a conflict. Oh, J-Lo! J-Lo 1972. I love seeing you, and you're always so generous. Thank you. David Kyle says, should the MCU do Emma Frost with the Phoenix Force? I don't know about that, but I would like to see Emma Frost done right. All right. Okay. Shout out, Tom. Callie Spaney is Rogue? No. I think she's too small. And then Danny says, hey, Grace, I love the insights from your office. Very clear afternoon. Who would be your choice to play Poison Ivy? I'm not sure right now who I would have to be Poison Ivy, but I would like to very much see them finally do her relationship with Harley Quinn in live action. Terry, you just made it home. Hi. Hi, Terry. All right, I'm very sorry. I got to get to top 3 X-Men. I like all the X-Men, Bara. Bryce Radcliffe says, I saw someone suggest that Rogue should take Gia's powers since she has Carol's powers. But then that would make Rogue overpowered. So I wouldn't do that. Oh, happy birthday, SMR Goose. I'm so glad you decided to spend part of it with us. That's so nice of you. Did someone just gift some memberships? Why are they? Oh, J-Lo's memberships. You're just coming in now, J-Lo. YouTube's a little slow. All right, so shout out time, because then I got it's 7 o'clock already, and I haven't edited my Monkey Man review. All right. Oh, you're right. It's the servant, not the butler. I'm sorry, with Dirk Bogarde. It's the servant, but he is technically the butler. Hey, Jay Scott. That's a different Jay Scott. Now 2 different Jay Scotts I know. Drinking coffee in Philadelphia. Hey, Matt. Always so nice to see you. It's always so nice to see you in Michigan, and I'm glad you got. That's a big work week you got in. Bye, David Kyle. CM is hydrating in sunny Dallas. Javi says, I wouldn't be surprised if Gia is never seen again. Me either. Art Lover says, it's Art Lover. Thank you for gifting a membership. That's always so very nice of you. Kim is rewatching X-Men Evolution. Well, Maria says, shout out from Phoenix, Arizona. Love it. Sensation's going to do some blue sky right after the stream. I'm glad you guys like that term. Leroy says, waiting for the homemade pizza to finish for dinner. Oh, homemade pizza can be delicious. Oh, that's a great Thursday night dinner. You're getting your weekend started early. I love it. Sean McGuire says, making a new Dungeons & Dragons character in Overcast, Delaware. That's very cool, Sean. Danny says, I love your streams. Have a great rest of your day. You too, Danny. Kyle says, getting ready for work in cloudy Los Angeles. Let's see. Zay says, can you give my roommate Edgar a shout out? I sure will. Hey, Edgar. J-Lo says it's snowing in Boston and you're off to San Diego tomorrow. Oh, you're going to have such a great time. San Diego is so fun, especially, Comic-Con is, of course, an experience, but the city itself is really wonderful. Oh, there's so many great places to eat on the water. You're going to go, of course, I'm sure you're going to go to the zoo. Oh, you're going to have a really good time. Hey, Sid in Ottawa, Canada. Oh, look, everybody's giving Edgar a shout out. That's adorable. iHeart Movies chose Gen V. That's good. Finish out the boys, and then you can switch to the bear. Thanks, CM. I'm glad you're looking forward to my Monkey Man review, although you might not be happy once you see it. Lisa says, eating as much as I can before I start my fast. Oh, you're starting your fast on a weekend, Lisa. That's brave. Thanks, Zay. I'm glad we were all happy to do something nice for your roommate. Oh, thank you, Terry. VHS says San Diego is the best. Much love from San Diego. Let's see here. Griffin Hammersmith says RuPaul wants Justice Smith to play him in a movie. That's actually excellent casting. That's excellent casting. What great casting. That RuPaul, again, another great business person. Elia says, I saw Ashley McBride in El Cajon. That's awesome. I'm blanking on who that is, though, for some reason. Jenna is watching from home in Pleasant View, Utah. Oh, that sounds like a wonderful place. Little Baby Pizza just started watching The Bear. Isn't that a great show? Oh, I love it. I'm so glad I'm on the Bear train. Timothy Austin is sending good vibes from Georgetown, Guyana. Oh, I love that. I love talking to you guys all over the world. The Fonz is watching Nicki Minaj in Milwaukee next weekend. That's going to be a great time. And Ivan is about to see the first Omen. Oh, don't get too scared. And then Aided Buffalo is eating cake and ice cream after their diabetes test. Well, I hope the test went well. I hope that's why you're eating so much sugar. Cake and ice cream is delicious. Ricardo says, off to bed. Love from Brian and Ricardo in Edinburgh. I always love seeing you guys. Alfie, I'm sorry you just missed the stream, but luckily it'll stay up. All right, I better get going. It's 6:55. I had a lovely time with you guys as always. We closed out the week strong. 2 videos tomorrow. Monkey Man review will be going up early, and then I got a little something for you later in the day. All right, everybody. And then, of course, Sunday, movie math, and we start the week again. It will be glorious. Glorious. What's coming out next week? Civil War. Civil War. It's going to be a great week with Civil War. That's going to be fun times. Okay, everybody. Bye. I love you. Bye. Bye-bye.